this is Brianna with the Latte Wellness Group. I'm just here today to tell you a little bit about what we've been working on throughout the week. So it's not always just focused on marketing, even though that's a big portion of what we kind of focus on as a private practice for mental health. But also it's the operations of the business. So for this past week, the team and I, we've been trying to figure out how to handle the issues of recurrent no-shows. So by no-shows, I mean people who miss their appointments without giving proper notice. And in this case, that's 48 hours notice. And it's very detrimental for everyone involved, for the person who missed the appointment, the clinician, and other clients of our practice. Because, if people don't cancel their appointment in time, or if they don't just show up at all, we aren't able to fill that spot as efficiently as we could. And maybe it doesn't get filled at all. So that can kind of cause a lot of problems, because there are some people out there who, really need the services, whether that's therapy or medication management. And if somebody that is continually no-showing and not giving proper notice, that spot that someone else could have had, it kind of just goes to waste. So primarily, in the past month, one in every 4 sessions has resulted in a no-show. So, that's not a good statistic, especially since at the end of the day, this is a business, and it's just very inefficient, and it causes people's, treatment and care to kind of stall out. Like when you don't attend your appointments, it can have a really negative effect on your progress through therapy or, medication management. You need that consistency, you need the frequency, you need the dedication, the effort. All of that needs to be top priority when it comes to therapy and psychiatry, because that's how you fully heal and fully progress. So as a result of this, we've had to make a couple of changes to our no-show policy. And let me just give you a look at what that looks like. Let me share my screen. So we've had to update our no-show cancellation and payment policy. The payment policy, this is been added to this no-show policy because it kind of goes hand in hand. We do require that all clients have a credit or debit card on file for us at the time of scheduling, or at least, by the time of their first appointment. And this is to kind of provide some sense of security, not only for ourselves, but for other clients as well. So we need the card on file for copays, deductibles, out-of-pocket costs, and no-show fees. And even if you don't have a copay or a deductible, or if you're not paying out of pocket, if your insurance fully covers it, we still need the credit or debit card on file for no-show fees. So we've been kind of changing how we enforce that. In the past, we've had some problems with too many invoices going unpaid and clients having outstanding balances. So we're trying to move away from that. And as a result, we have changed the way we collect payments as of yesterday. Payments for any fees associated with sessions should be collected at the beginning of each session, and they'll be collected by the clinician. Any invoices that are sent out, for example, that is normally the process when somebody gets initially scheduled for their first appointment. We send out an invoice, and then they can from there save their card on file upon paying the invoice. So because of that, any invoices that are sent out need to be paid on or before a client's first session. So we're specifically stating that so, it's clear to everyone. Um, and if they don't save their card on file, they can either give us a call and our billing specialist will assist them in adding their card on file, or their clinician may also put their card information on file during their session. And we use the payment platform Square, um, and it's a secure platform, where people's information it's safeguarded, so, and people have the option to either input their card info themselves, or we do it on their behalf. It's really up to the client. But at the end of the day, we do require to have the credit or debit card on file. So that leads me into the no-show, late cancellations, or rescheduling policy. Um, and let me backtrack a little bit. Medicaid and pro bono clients are not subject to this payment policy because legally you cannot charge Medicaid clients any no-show fees. And of course, if somebody is receiving pro bono services, we are not going to ask them for their credit or debit card information because that is just not very ethical. However, Medicaid and pro bono clients are subject to our updated no-show cancellation policy. So we've always required 48 hours notice to cancel or reschedule any appointments. However, the enforcement of that has not always been, as good as it could be. That's because it's so many clinicians and so many clients. But because of the fact that we are getting so many no-shows, we have to start strictly enforcing this policy. So we require the 48 hours notice. If you fail to show, cancel, or reschedule your appointment without contacting us within that 48-hour notice period, and if that happens for 2 consecutive occasions, you will be charged a $50 fee. The first occasion that it happens, we're understanding, we'll let it go. But if it happens 2 times in a row, that's when the fee will be imposed. If it happens a 3rd occasion in a row, consecutively, clients risk the chance of being discharged from our organization. And this is because we have to have the ability to put a person who is dedicated and wants to put effort into their mental health into that space. It can't just be wasted on someone who isn't taking their treatment seriously, who doesn't make an effort to, contact us to let us know that they're not going to be able to make that appointment. It's not fair to anyone. It's not fair to the clinician, and it's not fair to other clients of our practice, and even, new clients, because we get calls every day. Therapy is a very in-demand service. Medication management is a very in-demand service. So we need people in our available time slots for all of our clinicians that are dedicated and serious about their healing and their progress in regards to their mental health. So another new change in regards to this no-show policy is any client we know that no-shows regularly, and this is just across the board. It's not just if you miss 2 consecutive appointments in a row, but it's if you miss 2 here, and then a couple weeks go by, you miss 1, a couple weeks go by, you miss 2 in a row. If we see that you have a habit of that, if there's a pattern that we can kind of pick up on, we're going to start contacting you. And we're going to be contacting you to confirm if you're going to be able to make that appointment or not. And if we don't hear back, then we'll just cancel your appointment altogether. If you know that you're not going to be able to make your appointment, just give us a call. We have a 24/7 call center right now that even if you call after hours, you just leave a message with them, your name, your appointment time, and cancellation requests or rescheduling requests. And once we return in the morning, we'll be able to contact you and make sure you're at least rescheduled, or at least you have another appointment coming up And that way you don't experience that lapse in care. So that's what we don't want. We want people to stay on track with their appointments, and just be courteous enough to give us enough notice so that if they can't make their appointment, that we could at least give that spot to someone else who really needs it. Another change is, because sometimes we get a little bit of pushback from people putting their card on file, even though it's a common practice at all healthcare organizations. There's not a place you'll really go to that won't take your card number for instances such as no-shows. I went to the doctor's yesterday, and they actually have a $100 no-show fee after the second session. So, it's common practice. And if you do miss your appointment one time in a row and you don't have a card on file, you will be required to put a card on file. And if that's refused, if our request is refused, we unfortunately can no longer provide services to that person until we have a card on file. We're going to be starting to share this policy on the client portal for our clients to sign, which wasn't required before, but we just want to make sure everybody's clear, therapists and clients alike, that this is the policy and it needs to be, abided by and enforced. So, in addition to this, I've not only had to update this policy, but I've had to update the policy everywhere else. So, for example, we have a client handbook that we send out. I've had to update it there. I've had to update it on our EHR platform, Therapy Notes, because, like I said, we send this out regularly. So I updated the welcome letter, and I also added it to our library of files that we send out to the portal, through the portal. In addition to that, I've also added it to the employee handbook, because, like I said, it needs to be clear across the board for everyone. So everyone is aware of the changes that have been made, and everybody is aware of what their responsibility is when it comes to payment and the collection of fees and no-shows and all of that. So I've added it to our employee handbook. Sometimes people are unable to sign their documents on our EHR platform, and we utilize DocuSign in that case. So I've uploaded the policy there, and I've uploaded the updated welcome letter and consent form and HIPAA documents to DocuSign as well for any persons that are unable to sign the form through our EHR platform. So this is just something that we have been focused on for the week. And it's coming along. Yesterday was the first day we started to strictly enforce it. So it's definitely coming along. And yeah, so hopefully next week we'll have everything kind of smoothed out and figured out a little bit better. But this has been the focus so far this week, and I can't wait to show you guys what we're working on for next week.